Greateast.
Hey, run that thing up.
Greateast.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the show. It's your boy Musa. I got a special guest here with me, my guy Roman. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, man. Let everybody know who you are and what you into, man.
What's up, YouTube? It is a pleasure to be here. My name is Derek Roman. I do TikTok, I do Instagram. I'm big into Puerto Rican facts. You can find me on TikTok at Derek, DEREK .Roman01. Again, if you're interested in Puerto Rican culture, Puerto Rican facts, then I'm your guy.
Yes, sir, man. So I appreciate you joining the show. If you're watching, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on the show and this week's shows, man. So we got a great episode for you guys today. We're gonna talk about obviously the recent shows this week, but we're gonna talk about some of the best video games that ever came out by WWE. So we're gonna rank those as well. But before we get into all of that, man, Roman, I gotta ask, who is your top 10 or top 5 superstars currently today or all time right now?
Top 5 all time or currently? All right. I'm gonna say I'm a big Orton fan. I'm gonna say Randy.
Okay.
I think Randy. It's no order, right? No particular order.
No order.
All right. So if it's no order, I'm gonna go with Randy. I'm a big Punk fan. I'll go CM Punk, HBK. Let me see.
You can include female wrestlers if you want as well, if you have any favorites. But so far, Punk, Shawn, and you got Randy. That's not
Randy.
a bad.
Prime Batista.
That's a good pull. That is a good pull.
I can't put Roman up there. You know what? I think I like Seth. I gotta give it a Seth. I think Seth Rollins is one of the most consistently entertaining wrestlers so far. I like Roman, but I think overall, if I had to pick between him and Seth, I gotta kind of lean towards Seth.
Do you feel Seth is kind of underrated in a sense? Because I don't think he gets talked about enough when we talk about the all-time greats. I know Roman is spoke about more especially with the tribal chief. But do you think Seth is underrated?
Yeah, I think if you look at accomplishments, he's not underrated because he got a lot under his resume. I think when it comes to like public perception and like how often he's talked about, especially when you go down and like talk about like where he would fall into the greatest of all time, I would put him higher than Roman, honestly, in terms of if you look at resume,
really
overall accomplishments. Not significantly. He's either at par or like maybe a little bit above. But I think Seth is, in my opinion, because I think for Roman's tribal chief really like elevated his character. But we're not going to ignore that the earlier part when they separated from the Shield, where they were kind of forcing him down people's throat. And like Seth Rollins, even from the separation of the Shield, Seth Rollins has been entertaining, at least in my opinion. So if we mark it down from that point on, career-wise, both of them, I personally would put Seth a little bit over.
So would you say, you could correct me if I'm wrong, would you say the separator for you between Seth and Roman is the longevity of their character work? It seems like, because like you mentioned, the big dog was some down years with the big dog compared to post Shield, Seth still had the authority in his when he came back from the ACL injury as well. He had a lot of different character consistency. Is that would be the gap for you?
Yeah. I think that's what, in my personal opinion, would put Seth like a smidge over Roman. That consistent, like even when he switched characters from time to time, it still was like entertaining enough. Where like again, Roman had that brief stint where like they were really trying to push that character through, and it wasn't fitting. And again, they hit it out the park with the Tribal Chief, but like that's one persona that Roman's had that elevated his career to where it's at now. I think overall, I think Seth is more entertaining.
First and foremost, before I respond, Fernando, what's up, man? Appreciate you for always showing up every time we go live. He said he thinks Seth is the best worker in WWE when healthy. And there's an argument that could be made for that. I think my gap where I will put Roman above Steph is the health part. I feel like Steph is just whenever we start slowly getting the best of Steph, whatever he is, injury comes up and kind of derails it. We're seeing it currently right now with the whole Vision story. Because I believe if Steph doesn't hurt his shoulder, we will not be going down this road right now with the storyline. We could look at going to WrestleMania 40, the injury with the meniscus. Hell, when he was having his best run, when he had both titles, when him and Sting was having that small feud before Sting got hurt, he tore up his knee after that. So again, I don't disagree with you, but I think for me, I'll give Roman that slight edge due to the health. And that Tribal Chief is just that 4 to 5 year stretch.
Yeah,
is so significant.
It doesn't just. I can't take away from that.
It's hard because it doesn't impact him necessarily by itself. Without that, we don't get Sammy and Kevin main event in Mania with the Usos.
Yeah,
we don't get the Jey Uso we have now. So it trickles down so much farther than just what Roman was able to do for himself with the gimmick.
That's a good point. I agree with that. I agree with that analysis.
Okay. I would say my next question for you will be just so the viewers can get familiar with you and your WWE knowledge. What's your favorite matches of all time to watch?
My favorite matches of all time. Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian. I think it was a TLC for the tag team belt.
Was it the 3-way TLC with the Dudleys?
Yeah.
Okay, WrestleMania.
That one's epic. John Cena, CM Punk, Money in the Banks when Punk won the title. That one's a classic.
That's a good pull right there. Okay.
I liked Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair retirement match. That one more so sentimental, not the actual wrestling, but the actual sentiment of it. That one was good. Let me see.
Maria, hello, welcome back to the show. Son of a Loco with a comment. Jey Uso gets too much hate. I can understand the fact that he is being overused, but I think he's a great guy to watch. Hold that thought. We're gonna get to that in just a moment.
Yeah.
So you have Punk and Cena, Money in the Bank.
Yep.
You also had, I believe you said the TLC match, and then you have Flair and Shawn, the retirement match. Maria also believes Roman Reigns is overrated. I would say that depends on where you have him rated. Yeah. Well, so I wouldn't disagree with that point, actually.
I liked Randy Orton when he was part of the Authority, the unification match that he did with Cena. That one was a good match as well.
Okay. Was that the ladder match?
Yeah.
Okay.
He like strapped him to the rope.
Yeah.
That villain Randy something else.
All right, that's 4.
Let me see.
If you got one more
that I can think of.
It doesn't have to be WWE only, actually.
Okay.
It can be outside of WWE also. So
outside WWE. I don't watch too much outside of WWE, to be honest. That's on me, but I'm trying to think. Recently a good match. I liked oh my god, this last WrestleMania? I think the last time Rhea's last match. I forgot.
At Mania?
Yeah, was it the 4-way? I think it was.
I
I
don't
don't remember.
XL, was it the? I know she had one with Charlotte at 39, which was a banger. And then last year, what did she do last year? Oh, was she? It was her and Becky. Her and Becky was at WrestleMania 40.
I think it was that one or the Flair match. It was one of those two matches. But overall, I think I've liked a few of her matches. They've been clean.
Okay. To be a good host, man, can't be a W host. Well, one of my matches that Fernando just mentioned that's on my top 5 is Stone Cold and The Rock Mania 17.
Yeah, I'm blanking out on all the old ones. I ain't gonna lie, I blanked out.
That's one of my favorite matches. Another match obviously on there will be TLC. That was what you mentioned, that one too, from X17. That was one of my favorites. But I'm probably gonna leave that TLC match off because a match that people don't, I say those if you're familiar with the show and those who've been watching, I talk about this match a lot. So this wouldn't be no surprise if you watch. I always talked about the Chris Benoit Jericho ladder match for the IC title at Royal Rumble 2001. As a kid, I loved that storyline, and then that match was really, really good. Two technical wrestlers who have good at high flyers as well. That ladder match was really, really good. So that's one of my top 5 favorites.
That's right.
Fernando with another match, Shawn and Angle at Mania 21. Yes.
Yeah.
It's sad because the following Mania, we were supposed to get Shawn versus Eddie Guerrero before Eddie transitioned, unfortunately. And that would have been a banger. But yeah, so I have Jericho Benoit ladder match at Rumble, Austin Rock 17. A match outside WWE that I love. I was big in the early 2000s watching TNA. So America's Most Wanted inside the 6-sided steel cage tag match against Triple X. When Alex Skipper walked across the top of the cage and did that Hurricane off the top, that was one of the best moments ever. One of the best tag matches I've ever watched. America's Most Wanted, Chris Harris, Wildcat Chris Harris, and of course Bobby Roode, who works with WWE now, was the tag team at the time. And then you had Low Key and Alex Skipper, as I mentioned. So those would be my 3. A 4th match. I used to love the King of Mountain matches in TNA, but I'm gonna go with Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe in TNA for the heavyweight title.
They didn't give the respect they need in WWE.
For sure. And then my 5th match, I'm gonna show love to AEW. One of my favorite matches from AEW is definitely the early stages of AEW when it first started was Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa in that hardcore match. That match was fire. So I want to show love to them. So those will be my top 5 if I can think of any at the top of my head right now. So that being said, we're gonna move right along, and I have a blind ranking for you before we get into the tier list.
Sounds good.
And those watching, you can also put in your order as well. Fernando has another comment. Triple X versus America Most Wanted was dope. Yes, it's a very heavily underrated feud that doesn't get talked about enough in TNA history. Which also, if you see the topic, we're going to talk about some TNA superstars later in the show. But we might save it for next week because I think that could be a whole episode in itself. But yes, the blind ranking. I'm not going to tell you the topic. I'm going to name wrestlers, and you're going to just put them in order. 1 being the best, 5 being the worst, and then at the end, I'll give you the topic.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And shout out to No Name Wrestling Podcast. I seen them do this, and I thought it would be a good idea to bring it on over here. So the first name is Io Sky.
From 1, you said 1 to 10?
1 to 5. 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. So Io Sky is the first name.
I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna play
3. Okay. The next name I'm going to give you is Jade Cargill.
I'm gonna say 2.
2. Okay. The next name I'm going to give you is Bronson Reed.
I don't know where this is going. I'll put E over Brunson. I don't know what the category is, but I'll say 4 for Brunson. I'll save my 5.
The next name is Penta.
Oh, I'm gonna say 1. I can't put Penta. I mean, I'll say 5. Sorry, I can't.
5 is
Can't
Penta.
put Penta low.
Okay. So the next name is going to be your number 1 spot. Just want to make that clear. So you have Penta.
No, flip it. Sorry. I've been doing it backwards. Top 5. All right. Yeah. No. So I'll put Penta.
Yeah, 5 being the worst, 1 being the best.
Yeah. So Penta. Sorry, Penta 1.
Yep. So you have Penta 1.
Penta's my number 1. Yeah.
Okay. So Penta's 1. EO is 3.
Yep.
You had Bronson 4, and then I gave you J Cargo at 2. Correct.
So 1. All right. I gotta confuse. My fault. 1 being the best.
Yep.
5 being the So I would switch it. So I would do Penta.
Penta's 1.
Yep.
Okay. 2 was Jade. That's what you said.
Flip it. I'll do Brunson.
So Brunson reads 2.
Yep.
So Penta 1, Brunson reads 2. Is EO staying at 3?
I'll keep EO where she at, and then I'll do Jade Cargill at 4.
4. So the last name who's going to be at 5 is Roman Reigns.
God damn. All right.
The topic,
it
was WWE entrances.
Oh.
The best entrances. So you have Reigns, unfortunately, at 5, being the worst. Although it's the slowest and the longest entrance. You have Penta at 1, which is not bad.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that one.
Bronson Reed at 2.
Yeah, nah, I would have flipped it. I would have. Can I switch now? Now that I know the topic?
Nah. That's what I'm ranking for.
I'm not mad at it. I'm fine with Penta. Definitely would have switched Brunson.
For sure. And then you had Jade at 4.
Yep.
And then Roman at 5. So that was the blind ranking. I'll probably save the other one for later in the show, but we're gonna get right into the topic, which is the best WWE video games all time. And this might be some of these games is before some of our viewers' time, and it might be before my time, depending on when it came out. I have to double check. Shout out to the tiermaker.com. This title here is not correct. We're going a little past 2000, just a little bit. Here are the tiers. You got the S tier, A tier, B tier, mid, and trash. Because we're gonna be fair, because some of these games you probably haven't played before, so out of respect. But here is the list of games, and as you see, we have some great ones, we have some questionable ones, but we got in our bag here. Oh, I just realized the most 2 recent year games I did not add to this list. So 24 and 25. I was focused on adding all the old ones. I forgot to add the 2 most recent years.
The 2 most recent ones.
So let me do that real quick. But we have some comments here, so this won't take too much time. So Fernando had his order. Oh, wait. Number 1, Stone Cold. 2, Undertaker. 3, The Rock. 4, Ultimate Warrior. 5 is Chris Jericho. So I'm sure that's his top 5 favorite wrestlers. It's not a bad list right there at all.
It's not.
And then the next comment we had was from Son of a Loco. Would you agree Hogan kind of ruined WCW due to his horrible creative control? If you disagree, would it be WWF having better quality? Wouldn't it? Okay. So do I think Hogan ruined WCW due to creative control? Oh, Fernando's list was based on entrances. Okay. Top 5 entrances. Son of a Loco, that's a great question. I will go first. I would say I think he had a large part in the downfall of WCW, but I think it had a lot to do with the writers who had control and gave him control as well. They gave Kevin Nash control as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he shares a large portion of the downfall, but I don't solely blame Hogan. And assuming with WWF, you're referring to that time frame where WCW was on a decline. I think WWF in the Attitude Era had a really good storylines, but I would say it was more top heavy, if anything. There was a lot of things that was pretty bad or mid that went under the rug because of how elite the top tier talent were during that time, like the Austins, the Takers, things of that nature. So that is my kind of thought process on that, to say the least. All right. I think we lost him. Yep, we lost him. That is cool. He'll be back soon. Maria agrees it was very top heavy. There we go.
My fault. Probably disconnected.
Oh no, you good. You good. We didn't miss none. But did you have any thoughts on the question that was asked, whether or not Hogan kind of ruined WCW to creative control?
It's been a while since I've watched WCW. I see if I remember correctly. I felt like, in my opinion, it came down to them not being able to output enough creativity to match what WWE was doing at the time. And I think in one of those in those type of situations, I tend to put the blame on the owner. I think, like, at the end of the day, these are your employees, regardless of like what they want to do. You're the one that makes, or should at least, make the final call on like in what direction creative should be moving. So yeah, I think I would agree with you in the sense of like I'll put some blame on him, but I think it ends up falling on the lap of Eric Bischoff.
For sure. Well, I'm gonna start with you for the tier list, and I'm gonna give you one of the best games that there is, and that's SmackDown versus Raw 2007. So where would you rank this game on hierarchy of wrestling games?
SmackDown versus Raw 2007. I would put it at A tier.
A tier, okay. S tier is the best tier. Just to let you know.
S tier is the best tier?
Yep. So for the rankings, so S tier being the highest and then trash being the lowest. Okay. So you will put 07 in A tier.
Yep.
Okay. Fernando said Hogan, Hall, Nash, and Vince Russo ruined WCW, not just Hogan. I agree. I don't know how much of the blame goes to Scott Hall as much, because based on what I watched and heard stories, it was a lot of Russo, Bischoff, Ted Turner here and there, and a lot of Hogan and Nash. But overall, with your comment, I do not disagree. So I have 2008, and I will actually put this in. It gets a lot of hate, and it wasn't a very bad game. The GMO was really good. I'll put it in the A tier for now. Now you have SmackDown versus Raw 2009.
That one got. Let me see if I got the right one. Hold on, 2009. Is that the one with
Remember, we used to load into the games. They used to show your stats on depending on who superstars you use. The matches, yeah, Jimmy Wang Yang in that game.
I would. 2009. I think I'll put it B tier. I feel like it was sentimental. I had that one on the PSP.
So I would say for 09, this was probably the least, one of the worst versions of the SmackDown vs. Raw iterations. But I think people give it a lot of hate, and it was actually a fun game to play. Like, I remember being up hours playing last man standing matches with my friends, because we would just beat each other up and smashing all the buttons trying to get up. So it had a lot of longevity from a playing standpoint. Now I have SmackDown versus Raw 2010. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna put this in the mid tier. The Road to WrestleMania wasn't bad, but it was just lacking some things that I just wasn't a fan of, to be honest.
Okay.
You have the SmackDown vs. Raw 2011.
SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. I'd put it S tier or A tier, at least in my opinion. I think it's one of the more fun WWE games that they've had out.
I agree. This is one of the better SmackDown versus Raws. I will probably have it behind 07. I think 07 was the best iteration. But now 11 is definitely one of the top 3 SmackDown versus Raws that they had made. Speaking of that, I have the original SmackDown versus Raw.
That one's a class. It's one of those, like, it carries nostalgia, but overall, I think it's B to mid.
I'm gonna put it in the B tier because it was the start of something great. It had a great
That's fair.
benchmark, and again, a lot of these from 06 up into the 08 range, SmackDown versus Raws, the GMOs, the storylines, it really carried a lot, and it had a lot of replay value. Yeah. A lot of these games don't have, so I would definitely put it in the B tier.
That's fair.
Now you have one of the better ones, WWE 12. Where would you put this in the tier list?
I would put 12 at B. I think 12, I remember it fondly because that's the first game that they did with 2K, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yep.
They made the transition over. I think it was solid. I think they carried over like a lot of things from THQ, even though they had like the 2K label on it. I liked it. I had fond memories of it.
Okay. Next, I have WWE 13.
I wasn't biased, but yeah, I would, me personally, higher. But again, that's me.
No, I'm putting it in the A tier. I'll put it at the top of A tier. Only because I believe 07 will be in the S tier by the time we're finished the list. So 13 was definitely in the A tier. It was one of the greater WWE games at that time. The GM mode, I'm not the GM mode, I'm sorry. The universe mode was really, really good. The draft, doing the draft, the universe mode, which they need to bring back in current games, was really nice. You had the free flow options of how to do your universe mode, and most importantly, you had create a story.
Yeah,
which they need to bring back.
Yeah. So, I agree. I like this. One of my favorite of all time. Even like just the in terms of like their advertisement for the game, having Punk do like the military themed type of thing, or like anarchist type of theme that it had, was awesome. I like this. One of my
not to mention the promo they had with him in Austin was really, really good for the increase the sales on the game. So
yeah,
definitely. You have the first official 2K logo wrestling game. That is 2K14.
I'll put it with A. I think it's a solid. It's one of the more solid, consistent ones that they had from WWE to 13 to 14. I think it carried over pretty well. They didn't like really do anything significant to bring down the quality of the game, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I think this was one of the better 2Ks that they come out with. I have 2K15. And this was a big graphic jump, if I'm not mistaken. This was mid. Actually, it's trash. I did not really enjoy 15 as much as I would have liked.
Yeah.
But this was not good at all.
I just hate how like limiting it was. Like they took a lot.
It was bare bone.
Yeah, it took a lot of control away from you, and they made it like very bare bone. Like press this button, press that button. Like it took a lot of the creativity that you would expect from a wrestling game. Yeah, I would put it in the trash.
Absolutely. Luckily for you though, you have 2K16.
16, I would put. I'll say mid. I think it's an okay game. I don't. In comparison to like what's in B and A tier, I wouldn't put it that high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a solid game.
Fair enough. Next, I have 2K17. Good old Brock. I'm gonna put this in the B tier, right above 09. This was a solid game. It was fun. The graphics was really good. Gameplay was solid. Everything. It wasn't a bad game. I had some room for improvement that could definitely improve the quality of life for it. But overall, really, really good game. The scrim mode though, this is where we start getting a lot of the decline with story mode, with the career mode. So, but next you have 2K18.
2K18 with Seth. I am okay with it. I would put it. I'd say B tier.
Would you put it above? Hold on, wrong one. All right. Would you put it above 17 or the original SmackDown versus Raw?
I'll put it. Yeah, I'll put it there. I'll put it above the original SmackDown versus Raw.
Okay. All right. Next, I have one that I'm not wasting time with. 2K19 S tier.
Yeah.
This was the last. If I'm not mistaken, this was the last THQ game created with 2K before 2K took over fully with the controls and gameplay and all that.
Yeah.
This was Chef's Kiss.
Agreed.
Like the small details matter, like being able to finally pull down the straps, paint ripping off, blood, everything about this from the gameplay. And obviously we had to deal with we was getting closer to the pandemic that happened. So the lifeline of this game extended farther than we would expected. But no, this was one of the best 2Ks, if not the best 2K they have made in its iteration.
That's fair. I agree with it.
Next, you have 2K20.
I'll say mid or trash.
Oh, you're being nice. Okay. I thought this was gonna be in trash.
I'll put trash. Now I'm okay with it being in the trash, but I was being nice.
What was your thoughts on 20 though overall?
I think it was okay. I think it's just like it's one of those like you with WWE, it's one of those where it's like either they hit it out the park or it's just like, oh, okay, just another yearly release. And like 20 was that. It was just like, oh, okay, it's just another yearly release. I think what killed it a lot was just like it was an incomplete game. Like it didn't become decent as a game like until the mid to later part of its like lifeline. Like it had too many bugs, too many problems earlier on, and like I feel like it would have been better for them to like not postpone, but like push back the release date and release like a more complete game than release it when they did with like all the bugs and all the issues that it had. I remember like I did like most of these I've pre-ordered and bought, so I did remember pre-ordering it, and it was just like a buggy mess, like way too many problems at the beginning. Towards the end, it was again a little bit more solid, but yeah, they could have done better.
Yeah, that whole futuristic DLC stuff I did not like. It had a lot of potential, but it just wasn't what I was looking forward to. I have 2K22. This was mid, but it was the start of something refreshing considering how bad 20 was.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it was bare bone, but it was nothing. But the best thing about it was you was gonna get better from here. So I'll put 22 in the mid category for now. Next, you have 2K23.
Let me see. I gotta think back.
Ooh, I like what I got next.
I gotta think back of how I feel. 2023. I don't think I had any issues with it. Like, yeah, I would put mid, I guess, to be nice. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like how it was, like playing it, but I can't. I don't have any bad or like outstandingly good memories about it, so I would put it in the middle of the pack.
Okay, not bad, not bad. 23 is really solid. The gameplay was good. Universe mode was a huge disappointment, and it still is, if we're being honest. But yeah, the story mode was an improvement. I'm trying to remember. Was this the one with the lock, or was that 24? Because this lock story mode was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll put it in mid is cool. Now, I got one of the best ones to ever come out. SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. For sure, S tier.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it to say about this? I will say, if you wherever
Just
you are,
yes, the menu
opening was S tier, Chef's Kiss.
Yeah.
Story mode was fire. Where you main event at Mania 19. Of course, you had the bra and panties matches, which kids we get in trouble playing, but we love playing that. You had the 3 stages of hell. Like the gameplay was fun, arcadic. It was nothing bad about this game that you can say. I will say, wherever you're watching from, you have a local little, I guess you could call it a black market video game store. If you could go get you a PlayStation 2, Xbox, and get this game, even the SmackDown versus Raws from 06, 07, and 08, do not hesitate, man. Those are endless fun. The story modes is all different based on who you pick. So it's always a replay value. There's nothing bad you can say about Here Comes the Pain. Next up, you have Shut Your Mouth.
I do not remember playing that one, so I can't really.
Really? I will put this. I'll say it's in the B tier, top of the B tier, almost borderline A tier. It was really good too. It wasn't Here Comes the Pain, but it wasn't far off.
Did it come before or after Here Comes the Pain?
I want to say it came after. I can fact check that though. I will fact check that in just a moment because I have the next one, and that is going to be SmackDown 2 Know Your Role. I played this a little bit. It wasn't bad. It was not bad. So I'm not gonna put it in the trash tier. I'm gonna put it in the B tier. Because again, a lot of those games back then had a replay value. But it wasn't bad. SmackDown Here Comes the Pain came out in 2003, which is crazy to say now. Shut Your Mouth came out 2002. So Shut Your Mouth was first.
Okay.
Dang, that is right. All right. Next up, you have SmackDown Just Bring It. This is where we're starting to get in our bag a little bit with the old ones.
I'll say B.
B tier.
I think it's like a solid, in my opinion, it was a solid game.
I have the original, I think this was the original SmackDown. I don't remember playing this too much. I'll say it's mid. I know I played it because I had almost every wrestling game you could think of back then.
Which was that one?
I put it in the mid, right in between 2010 and 2016. I remember playing it a little bit, but growing up, I pretty much had almost all the SmackDown games that was on PlayStation, Sega Genesis 64, GameCube. There's only a few on here that was only for Xbox that I did not play. And my brother played it, so he remembers it a lot more than I do. But yeah, so I'll put that in the mid. You have the GameCube exclusive, Day of Reckoning. Dang, that's a throwback.
I don't remember it. I didn't own a GameCube. I did not own a GameCube.
I had a GameCube. I'll say this was B tier. It's definitely a B tier game. Day of Reckoning wasn't bad. It was really good. It was solid. I think the next two games goes without a doubt, especially the one I have, No Mercy, Nintendo 64, S tier.
No Mercy.
The theme song, Diggity Dog. Oh man, that brings back so much nostalgia on Nintendo 64. Oh man, that was a really good game. Next, you have WrestleMania 2000.
What console it came for?
This was Nintendo 64 as well.
Nintendo 64.
I think also was. I think they also had it for GameCube also, but I'll have to fact check that one.
Didn't play.
We got Maria with some comments. It was a fun game. Yes, it was. And then Just Bring It was lots of fun. Yes, Just Bring It was really, really good. I'm actually gonna probably move that up. To the A tier, actually. If I'm being honest. This should be an A tier. Totally going blank. You're right there is good. All right. So you had, what would you want to put 2000, WrestleMania 2000? Have you played it before?
Huh?
Did you get the chance to play 2000 growing up?
I think most of the ones I played are like were either on PlayStation or Xbox. I didn't really play that game a few years ago.
It was a good game. It was fun. We could put it in B tier to be respectful. We have another comment. Just Sanford, 13 and 14 is S tier.
13.
I'm assuming he's talking about WWE 13 and 2K14's S tier.
S tier.
Not bad, right? I don't disagree with that. Definitely could get moved up. I will say 07 will be moved up to S tier. That's for sure getting moved up. It's my go. I'm gonna be quick. Attitude, I'm just gonna put it in mid because I have never played it. That was one of the few PlayStation games that I did not have growing up. And I had a lot of them. I wish Clips was here. He will vouch because growing up we had a lot of those games, man. But back to you. You have the last SmackDown versus Raw on the list. That's 2006.
I'll put that A tier, if not S, but I'm okay with it being A.
A tier. Where would you put it in the A tier list?
I'll put it there. I'm fine with it there. I wouldn't put it above 13.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me grab this charger. All right, so I have WCW/NWO. This is the one caveat game that's non-WWE that I put on the list. And the reason being because it was really good and they went toe-to-toe with No Mercy. And luckily, I'm able to choose it. And I'm going to put this in the, you know what? I'll put it A tier. First 07 has to be up here. Not there. You can move that. No, that's fine. I'll put it in A tier. I'll put it right there. That's fine. So yeah, WCW NWO Revenge was really, 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 really good game. Fun game to play.
What console was it for?
It was on Nintendo 64.
Nintendo 64.
I had that and I had 2000 and No Mercy. But I remember playing No Mercy a lot more than 2000. So growing up. Next up, you have one of the first Xbox exclusive wrestling games, and that's Raw. And this is why I wish Clips was here, because Clips loved to play Raw and Raw 2. Because he had Xbox.
I don't think did I play? Nah. I know I had the first Xbox, but I don't remember playing that one.
Okay. All right. Raw is definitely, I'll put it in the B tier for now. I have Raw 2. Actually, no, I made a mistake. Raw is going to be A tier. Raw 2 is what I'm going to put in the B tier. I'm probably going to put it right.
Are they both exclusive to Xbox?
Yeah. So the Raw games was only on Xbox. That's why I didn't play a lot of it. The times I did play was when I was with my brother at his house. But at the time. So that's why I remember a little bit, and he will be able to talk a lot more about those because he had, I think he had one of the other, he had both, but I know he had one of them. Son of a Local has a comment. What is the funniest WWE moment to you? For me, it's Triple H pulled down Kurt Angle's tights during a match. The funniest, I don't think I have the one particular moment, but based on your question, the one thing that came to my mind was the Rock. I think it was the Rikishi, the ass moment where
I
The
was thinking
Rock shoved Vince's face in Rakishi's ass on SmackDown. That was probably one of my funniest ones. Another one I believe I want to make sure I get the right person. I think it was Kurt Angle. He was on the Chris Van Fleet podcast. Which shout out to Chris Van Fleet. He talked about taking a stink face from Rikishi, and I think he said something. I'm paraphrasing, so don't take what I say to the grave. In fact, probably go watch the interview so you can confirm it. I think he said something along the lines where he's got the stink face. It was some stains in them drawers that, that he had to endure. So that's another funny moment I can think of.
I would put Damien Sandow when he was Mrs. Stunt Double, and he was like ghost wrestling right next to him, so everything was do it like by himself. Listen, the creativity to be able to like fake those moves like side by side is pretty funny.
Absolutely. Next we have is it my pick actually? Or was it yours? It's mine. Oh, I have Dead Reckoning 2 on GameCube. I think I don't remember. I had one of these on GameCube, but I don't remember playing it too much because I was mostly on the Nintendo 64. I feel bad I'm gonna put it in the mid, but I think I might be wrong about that. Next you have WWE All Stars.
I think it's mid. I think it's I mean it's nothing against it. It's just one of those like if you buy it knowing what you're buying, then it's a solid game. If you buy it thinking it's gonna be like, you know, another WWE game, then you're gonna be disappointed. But I had it. I think it was a solid game for like what it was like meant to be. So I'll put it mid.
It's a acquired taste. It's an acquired taste, to say the least. I'm not mad at that at all. Next, I have WWF Warzone, which is on PlayStation, and this was a top of the mid, almost a B tier game. I remember playing this a little bit. I used to unplug the system when I used to lose to my older cousins, so that's why I remember this. They used to always put me in those cage matches, knowing that I couldn't climb out the cage. So I used to get so pissed off, like. But Son of a Loco has another comment that just came in. Have you heard of WWE Immortals? If not, it was basically WWE's version of Mortal Kombat. However, it is no longer available. I have heard.
I did, yeah.
I don't have it on the list.
You do not.
I don't. So that was the one game I missed. Okay, because I knew it was a couple games that even from the early 90s, late 90s that came out that I never heard of. But
let me see. I'm trying to look it up. If it was a console or a phone game, was it both?
I think it was on iOS. So
it was a phone game. Yeah, I remember.
That's probably why I missed it, because I was looking mostly for console games. But Immortals, I heard about that game. It seemed like it was a pretty fun game. Next, I have WWE's Legends of WrestleMania. I'm gonna put this in trash. I'm gonna put it in trash. Yeah. It was fun to play at first because at the time when it came out, we rarely had a lot of old school classic WrestleMania games, and they was pushing this game heavy during the weekly shows. But once I got my hands on it and got to play it a few times, I did not enjoy this game at all. So
yeah, it felt like something that they just could have added as like a separate type of career mode or like an additional game mode to like a regular yearly release.
I agree.
As a standalone, I didn't like it.
I agree. Definitely, and it was bare bones as well. So next, you have WWE WrestleMania 21. This is I went into my bag for this one. This is I believe this was only on GameCube, I believe, on Nintendo 64. I have to double check just to make sure. No, it was for Xbox actually. It was an Xbox exclusive.
I got nothing.
We'll put this in the mid tier.
out of respect.
WWE Crush Hour. I did not play this.
Same here. Can't.
It was GameCube on the Game Boy, I believe, but I'm gonna put this at the bottom. I probably did play this, honestly. There was so many wrestling games I played growing up. Some of them I didn't even remember the names. I have to actually see the video again and to remember, but I'll probably put this in the mid for now. Let me put it up here. Next, you have WWE WrestleMania 18, which is also, I believe, an exclusive for Xbox.
Xbox?
I believe so. Let me fact check it just to make sure. Nope, it was exclusive to the GameCube. Wait, I had this. Okay, no, I had this game. It was good. It wasn't the best, but we have another comment from Son of a Loco. But what would you put WrestleMania 18 as before I read the comment?
I would say mid.
And then real quick, Battlegrounds for me, trash. All right, real quick before we go to the last two games.
Yep.
Son of a Loco, who do you think have every right to be a villain, Kane or John Cena? I think we all know the answer. Oh, for sure. Kane. I don't even want to talk about villain and Cena together because that could have worked if they just didn't abandon the whole entire storyline. But yeah, Kane for sure. Roman, you have WrestleMania, you have WWE 2K25. So this year's current game.
2K.
Where would you rank it?
I'll say B tier. I think it's one of those it's a solid game. I think there's nothing too crazy about it compared to like every other year. So I'll say B tier. It's one of those carry over from the next year.
I will say this is probably the best story mode they have had for a 2K game in a long time. My faction, it's
a money.
Yes, and I knew that was going to be the case when they first initiated my faction. It's sad because it has so much potential. I believe if you're going to make it a money grab game, that is fine. And I'm speaking for 24 as well, because 24 also had my faction. I believe some of these Persona cards that people and fans have been wanting to get, make it a little bit more accessible. Instead of having to go through paywalls and play an extra amount of games that gets repetitive and boring because you have to complete my faction goals like taunt and get torsos right and do all this extra stuff. It's not worth it. Because, for example, the Triple H Persona card for $99, where he had the Mind Time theme, released months ago, and we still haven't had it in the card market where we could just buy it with our My Faction points. And they just dropped Broken Dreams, Drew McIntyre. You had to go through an arm and a leg to even try and get that. So that's one of the issues. Universe mode is still broken. The fact that we have all these championships and Universe is still stuck to just 3 or 4 rivalry slots doesn't make sense. Still don't have a draft. It's a lot of things that's just missing in Universe mode. And GM mode is actually fun to play. I will say that. The gameplay of the game overall is fun to play. They just got to add to the online mode for GM mode. And I think they will have something. In online play, but any wrestling game, we don't got to talk about. It's just non-existent.
I will say, if there's one feature that you could get that you can pull from like the top S tier, what's one feature you would bring back for like next year's release?
GM mode.
GM mode.
But I want it to, because we already have GM mode. But I would pull some of the stuff that you was able to do in that mode in 07, SmackDown versus Raw, and bring it into this one. For example, purchasing storylines for your rivalries. That would be dope to do. I would love for them. This is not something that's in the game, but something that they can add. They would have you have your own custom show. That would be dope. Like if I wanted to do a GM mode where you have I have AEW, you have TNA. We can do that.
Okay.
Include custom belts and stuff like that. Because you already can include custom GM, so I think that would be a nice touch to do. Improve. There's a lot of little things I would improve on. But those would be the main things I would think of right now. Add more PLEs.
Yeah, my biggest thing would be the story creation from 13.
Yes.
One time, I think it's what I like the most. I feel like 2K, WWE thrives when it allows you to like just do whatever you want, and like I don't understand why they feel like restricting and putting like barriers to the game makes it more fun. I think it's the opposite. I think the more freedom you got, the more time you got to be creative. I think the more the game is fun to me. At least.
Absolutely. I think it's safe to say if we can find a way to merge both modes into one universe mode, that is in GM mode, I think it'll be perfect. And a lot of these content creators, the community curation guys, to have more input on some of these creations and give them more freedom, because that's what makes the life shelf of these games last. Especially when you have the DLC breakdown coming out months apart. I think having them test the game out.
Yeah.
Like game vote, what's the status, to name a few. I think it's Witty Witterson on Twitter. Like, just name some on top of my head. Allow these guys to get more access. And I feel like for me as a gamer, I think I have probably my most fun with wrestling game as a PC guy. But I don't have a PC. With PC, I can make it. I can update things and put things in that I want. So
that's it.
Last but not least, everything we kind of said applied to the 25. It applies to 24. To get 24, I will put this in the. Where's 25 at? Actually, we put it in the B tier. A tier. I mean B tier. I'll put 24. Is it better than 25? No. So I'll put B tier. B tier is fine. Yeah, I put it right behind 24. Actually, no. I'll put it behind 18. Everything we already just mentioned about 25, I think it stands the same with 24. Gameplay wasn't bad, but GM mode in 24 was very, very bare bones. Very bare bones. Like, universe mode was unplayable to a certain extent. So actually, I'm gonna put this at the bottom. No. You know what? Put it in top of mid. Yeah, top of mid's fine. So this is our tier list for the best WWE games ever. So the top 5, ironically, we only had 5 up here. 2K19, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown vs. Raw 07, No Mercy, and SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. So honorable mentions will be 13 and 14, which is also in the A tier as well. Son of a Local had a question for us. Who remembers when TNA made a game? I remembered it for sure. It was a fun game, actually. It was very bare bone. I know I keep using that terminology, but it was fun. I wish the entrances was longer in that game. Ultimate X was really good. The storyline could have been much better though. But for its first iteration, I think it was a decent game. Just like AEW. I thought AEW was going to be much, much better.
That one was a little bit of a letdown.
Absolutely. But this is our list. If you made it this far into the episode, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on our list and what is your favorite, if not the best, WWE video game of all time. And then what is the worst in your eyes, in your opinion? So I'm going to stop sharing my screen from here. And then before we wrap up, we're going to just pretty much go through the weekly shows and give our thoughts on the shows, matches, thoughts on things. I will save the Who's the Greatest TNA Superstar for the following episode next Sunday. So stay tuned for that. We're going to just cover a lot of TNA stuff next episode. And then, of course, still talk about the weekly shows as well. So start off with, actually, I'll let you start, Roman. What are some of your biggest takeaways from those shows this week? from WWE or AEW if you watched it?
From WWE, biggest takeaway. I'm interested to know what they're doing with Logan and Paul. I like that whole thing. I'm like, there's no way they're turning him face. There's no way. There's no reason for him to be helping Punk. So I'm like, there's definitely something brewing. But I'm interested to see what they're gonna do because I don't see him replacing Seth Rollins. And I hope that's not what they do because that's not the persona that he's carrying right now. So it wouldn't really like mesh well with the vision. But I'm definitely interested in that. Cody, it feels like they don't know what the hell they're doing with Cody. They're trying to like throw so many things at the wall and see what sticks. I'm a huge McIntyre fan, and like they just keep doing my boy dirty. Like I think one of my biggest like annoyances with WWE is like he looks like a main eventer. He is a main eventer. He's good in the mic. He's good at wrestling. You can't keep putting him in the main event and keep having him lose, because then after a point, then nobody will take him serious. You can't keep putting him in title situations. Even if he loses the title 2 months later, that's fine. But like, you don't keep putting him in title contention and have him lose clean against the champion, because then that just makes him look like a weak heel. So that's my biggest gripe with that. But I think it's overall. I think it's the at least this week. I think it was solid. They're building a good amount of different storylines. I'm waiting for them to see what they're doing with Penta, because they're giving him all the pyro.
Nothing.
Yeah, they're giving him all the pyro. They're giving him the screen time, the attention, but they're not really like. It doesn't seem like they're pushing him forward. And then the Jade Cargill, I'm cool with it. I'm interested to see what happens with it. I don't think she's like the best in-ring wrestler. She definitely has the look. Yeah, she definitely has the look, and I think that's what they're using to drive her popularity in this title run. So it's interesting to see who they're gonna put against her to defend their title. I personally like Tiffany Stratton's title reign. I think it was pretty entertaining for what they were doing.
Really, that's a first.
I didn't hate it. I think it. I didn't hate it. I'll say that. I don't think it was as bad as people make it out to be for the talent that they have in that division right now. So I'm interested to see now who they're gonna put against Jade Cargill for her to defend her belt.
Well, I guess I'll pick up from right where you just left off. First, son of local acts. What are the worst kind of wrestling fans? The worst kind of wrestling fans to me is the ones that always poo on the other company because they're so stuck on one other company. For example, AEW's trash. AEW's this and that. They can never be WWE. Those are the type of fans I hate the most, because we cried for years for variety, especially since Vince bought WCW. And when TNA went into that downslope, and now that we have parity, people cry and complain. AEW's is AEW, WWE's is WWE, TNA's was TNA. They all do things differently. If you're looking for more of a smash mouth not traditional, but smash mouth, hard hitting, blood and guts type of wrestling, AEW's for you. If you care about true storylines and I guess you could call longevity stories and all this other stuff, that's WWE for. And then if you're looking for just hard hitting wrestling, then go watch New Japan.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the type of fans I hate. I mean, I can't stand. Yeah. I would start now. Back to what we was about to do with the biggest takeaways. I think the first potential matchup for Jade would be Julia, considering how she lost the title, which I hated. I love that Chelsea Green has the belt because I feel like you could tell a bigger story with her with the belt, especially what she's doing with Ethan Page. My problem with that though is the way you book Julia. Julia came out of NXT beating one of the top stars like Stephanie Valkyrie, but one was booked one way, the other one was booked terribly. Julia, there's no reason why Julia shouldn't be in the same position that Stephanie's in. But the booking is the problem. And I believe even if you was going to book her differently, you should have gave her a more dominant run with the mid-card title. The problem is you're not doing any storylines with any of the women. Because Valkyrie won the belt, and I haven't. Yeah. I lost interest with Valkyrie a long time ago because there's nothing's going on. You have too many women on the shelf injured. You have a lot of women that you have in NXT or on the main roster that you're not doing nothing with. Now, bright spot is that Lash Legend is on the main roster. Thank God, because you had her wasting NXT. But the also downside of that is you got her with Nia Jax. And she could learn a lot from Nia Jax. I think Nia Jax was one of the best SmackDown women's wrestlers on the roster the last year and a half. She's been booked terribly since up until the point she lost the title to Tiffy. But I don't think Lash and her needs to be in a tag team. But because you already did it, I can obviously see them being dominant, winning the tag titles potentially, and then Nia turning her back on Lash, and that could be a one-on-one feud, like you kind of did it with the small glimpses with them having matches in NXT. I can see them doing that. Next, I would say is the booking overall. I just think the booking in WWE has been ass. Like it's been terrible. You're literally telling the same story that you told with Cody and Kevin before Kevin had his neck injury that you did with Drew McIntyre. Like it's the same story, cut and paste. I agree. I think Drew McIntyre starting to become like Dolph Ziggler and the LA Knights of the world, and that's terrible because someone like Drew should not be regulated to just losing consistently. And the sad part is if he was a one at Saturday Night Main Event, Drew is in a position where if he wins the big one, he cannot have a 2 to 4 month reign. I think he needs to have a legit reign considering how he won at the previous Mania 40 against Seth. So that's the bad part about it. Cody's the Super Cena right now. Like at this point, you don't have no one to wrestle him, and anyone you do put in front of Cody, you pretty much know that he's not losing to them. So that's kind of like the gift and the curse you have with that. And I'm interested to see who's this mystery person is for the Cena tournament, the farewell tournament for LA Knight. Because I personally think LA Knight's going to lose depending on who the mystery person is, which, again, they're booking him terrible as well. But that's my biggest takeaways with that. I love that Logan Paul is a heel. He kind of did that he kind of faked the funk on Monday Raw, pretending like he was going to be a face.
A brief switch, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's all to tell the story for the War Games match in a couple of weeks, which I believe is going to be Roman and Punk and Jay and, I don't know, Jimmy maybe versus Division, Logan Paul, and whoever's the fourth person. So, really quickly, because we have some chats. Sonova Loco asks, what song would be your wrestling entrance? Mine would be Trooper by Iron Maiden. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. For me, I'm using Walk Alone by Batista. Not by Batista. For Batista by Saliva.
I would have to go with Cult of Personality, like the first time he brought it out, or Broken Dreams by Drew McIntyre.
Fernando said LA Knight is getting screwed, as well as he said Logan Paul is trash. And another name that I want to hear your thoughts on this, who I think should be the one to win the whole thing. Oba Femi should debut on SmackDown and attack Cody. I think Oba should win the tournament and be the farewell person to beat Cena and then push him right to Cody. But what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. To me, I agree. I think it's an interesting and fast way to propel him to stardom, especially with Cena going out. I think it's going to be like that. I think it's Who is it going to be? I don't know, but I think with Cena going out, there's definitely going to be one person that he's going to be like, I'm giving them the thumbs up and, you know, pushing them forward as this is the next big name in the company. So if that's Oba, I wouldn't be against it. I've liked his work in NXT. He's definitely an entertaining and dominant force. But then that's another thing of like, how would you book him against Cena? Because it can't be a squash match. So it'd be interesting. I'll be okay with that being the match. The surprise fighter against Cena.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this week's shows before we wrap up the show?
Oh, one question. What do you think? What did you think about Ray and Dom?
Again?
Yeah, I said the same.
That's exactly what I thought about it. Like again,
same thing. I was like, just why? Just why?
I don't get it. They keep prolonging this Judgment Day blow up. Like, can we just get on with it? I know you're trying to wait for Liv, but if Liv is reported not to be back till Rumble, maybe if not later, then just blow this up. Son of a Local had a comment. Do you think Shinsuke deserves a main title reign? At this point, no. The ship has sailed with that. Because I just don't, with all the talent that's currently in both main rosters for the main event scene per se, the young talent they're trying to elevate, I just don't see them trying to push Shinsuke because he's gonna need a full 180. You should have done it in
Hold on 1 second, please.
Should have done it in 2018 when Shinsuke won the Royal Rumble. So that's it. And before we wrap up, Fernando had a comment, and then we're gonna get ready to wrap up. Dom Mysterio gets kicked out of Judgment Day, and Ray helps Dom and make up. That's another good option because I think Dom is at this point ready to be a baby face.
Yeah.
Real quick before we wrap up, Tuesday night, last man standing, Ricky Saints, Trick Williams. Who you got?
I think I got Ricky. I think they're gonna keep the belt on him.
I agree. I think Ricky's gonna win, and they can finally move Trick to the main roster. So that's gonna be for today's show. If you made this far, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the show, who you think is gonna win the farewell tournament, and the last man standing on NXT. Roman, I appreciate you coming on today, man. Always welcome, and make sure you follow his TikTok if you look for some Puerto Rican facts as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me. It was great.
No problem. Thank you for showing up, Son of a Local, and everyone that tuned in. We'll see you guys again next Sunday, same time, 6:30. And you guys have a great rest of your night. Peace.
Peace.